So this is the Milwaukee M18 impact wrench. This is in a 3/8 drive. So today we're going to talk about the an impact wrench, why you need it, how does it work, when would we use it, how much should we really spend on it. So like I always say, you can use any brand you want. You could use an air tool. When I built the Jeep here, I did air tools only. I didn't have power tools. We just didn't have them in the garage. We had a 55-gallon air tank, and we ran all of our power tools off air, and it obviously worked. So it's whatever works best for you. So the Milwaukee here, this one's the fuel. Normally I don't buy the fuel, but this was a gift. For my use, I don't feel like I need the heavy-duty part or the extra power that the fuel delivers, because I'm not tearing apart engines every single day. If I get to a point where I'm doing that, then the fuel's what I would spend my money on. Or if I was a professional mechanic, I would use fuel. But this was a gift, so that's why I have it. So it's made up of, we have the main body here, M18 battery. Like I said, I like the M18 line. I switch all my batteries across my Milwaukee power tools. Has a light, trigger, forward, reverse, and then up here we have the brushless motor in the back, which spins a rotating anvil assembly. So when it hits a certain level of torque, it'll slip and then it'll drive around and slam into the back of the anvil, which causes that impact to break bolts loose, things like that, or tighten stuff down. This one has 4 modes. So we have 1, 2, 3, and full. Now this is an older model. The newer model has the 4 modes. It's more compact. It still uses the M18, and while this one delivers 200 foot-pounds of torque, the newer model delivers 250 foot-pounds of torque. This one has the light right above the trigger. The newer model, you'll see it's flush with this trigger assembly, and it has the LEDs built into the housing in the front. So when would we use something like this? I use this a lot when I'm working on my car. I've used it when I tore apart the engine 4 times. When I put the engine back together, working on the suspension, mounting the transmission, things like that. The 3/8 drive, I really like that because it's more universal, where the 1/2 inch, it's got a lot of power. And then I'm mostly using 3/8 drive sockets and impact sockets. So instead of having to use adapters to do the 1/2 inch and everything, this gets me by just fine. The 1/2 inch is great if you're working on like lug nuts and wheels and things like that. So if I'm working on a tire shop, I wouldn't get a 3/8. I get the 1/2 inch because I know it's going to have that extra torque to bust loose every single lug nut out there. So I've used this for the transmission pan, for really anything where I'm not worried too much about specific torque specs. Now, like engine teardown, this all day long. Engine putting it back together, we're going to use, I'll use like the ratchet, because I know that doesn't have a ton of torque, and then I'll use my torque wrench to get down to the specified torque for engine stuff. Suspension, I'm going to use this. Don't tell anybody, but we're using this, and we'll follow it up with a torque wrench just to be safe. That's probably why this car is always broken. Now, I wouldn't use this on anything delicate. I'm not using an impact wrench while I'm working on a dash, or I'm not going to use the impact wrench just mounting anything delicate like spark plugs. I wouldn't use this on a spark plug, because you're going to break your spark plug in the head, and then you're going to have a really fun day. So this remember, just whenever you use the impact wrench, you're not worried about over torquing things. Like, this is when it's best. Don't use this for things that require inch-pounds or low foot-pounds of torque. So just be careful with this. Don't use it on, like I said, just don't use it on anything delicate. Don't use it on your drain plug. So how much should I spend on one of these? Now, you can go down to Home Depot and you can order this model, which is an older model, for about 170 bucks. Or you can get the newer one, the Gen 3, for 220, and it's got 50 foot-pound more of torque and whatnot, and it's a more compact size. So it's kind of whatever you want. On Amazon, I couldn't find the Gen 3 on their website, on there from a reputable source. So just always beware of fakes on Amazon, especially batteries. So I'm not going to recommend a Amazon link if I can't find one that I would purchase from myself. So your best bet, go down to Home Depot or order it from Home Depot online and get it shipped to your door. So we talked about the impact wrench, this one specifically the M18 from Milwaukee, the fuel model. We talked about how it works, how to use it, and when we should use it. We also talked about the price. So if you found this video helpful, like and subscribe, and go check out our website to get our free garage checklist. And that'll help you get set up with most of the tools you would need in your beginner garage or even your advanced garage. We have a pretty good list there on the advanced side. Things that I've come across the years that I'm like, hey, I could really use one of these right now.